So Brother Shahir, I'll give it to you to start the invocation. Thank you.
Yes, everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. This is Shahir Safi. I'm with the Islamic Center of East Valley in Chandler on Alma School in Erie. For all those friends and brothers and sisters in humanity that haven't visited us, we are open for post-COVID. So if those who wish to come on by and stop by in the masjid, our services are open, and we are open to the entire community. Anyways, Brother, they asked me to do an opening invocation, so I'd like to start with that. Oh Allah, oh God, oh the good Lord, we call upon you to purify our intentions, to do this great noble work for your pleasure. Oh God Almighty, accept from us this humble work, bestow wisdom upon us to be able to serve in the best capacity, and bring our hearts together under the service for you and service for humanity. Amen. Ameen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so who are we? Arizona Muslim Alliance, my name is Ode Shaheen, and I'm here to represent the Arizona Muslim Alliance. We are a 501c3 that's been established around the 2015 area by Muslim leadership in the Valley to represent and would be an umbrella organization advocating on behalf of the growing number of mosque and Muslim organizations in Arizona. It's a fairly new organization, but the partners and organizations that are part of AMA have been in the Valley for like a long period of time. Some of them are the oldest Muslim institutions. Now, specifically the areas that we own is a refugee task force. The AMA organization commissioned the task force on September 6th, which was literally a month ago, to coordinate efforts between partners for the Afghan crisis. So that's why we're here. We're here to coordinate with Muslim partners, non-Muslim partners, all partners in the Valley to make sure that the resettlement process is as smooth as possible for our Afghan brothers and sisters. Now, at this time, the scope, it's really for the Afghan crisis, but in reality, as we all know, the people that have been doing refugee work, it can expand to other crises later, but the most immediate right now is the Afghan crisis. Okay, so here are our partners. We are a combination and a plethora of organizations, and we cannot, AMA is simply an umbrella of many of the great work that these organizations do, whether it's ICNA, whether it's ICEV, whether it's the Islamic Center in Northeast Valley. We have Amwad Rumi Center, right? All these organizations are combining together to work cohesively for the first time as a Muslim community. Even though we only represent 70, 80,000 of Arizona's population, we do have many organizations that have been set up in the past 5-6 years that weren't available before to accommodate social services, health, medical, food relief services. And we're trying to put all that together in a collective strategy. So when we talk to other partners outside of the Muslim community, we're talking as one body. So we have collectively separated ourselves into multiple departments. Now, we do understand, given our bandwidth and given the scope and the size of our community, we're into supplemental mode. We're supplementing already existing organizations or efforts and some of these organizations and partners are on the call today. You hear from them. We're supplementing any gaps in these departments: food and beverage, mental, physical health, clothing and hygiene, furniture, visitations, spiritual connection, and post-care. If you are interested and you are listening to be involved in any of these departments, please reach out to us. We'll have you aligned to the lead. And if you have any special expertise or resources on any particular area here, feel free to reach out to us so then we could connect you to the right people to engage. So what are the efforts that we've done so far? It's been less than, it's been, a little over a month. These are just some of the efforts of coordination, the big ones that we want to discuss. One is we have fundraised over $18,000, alhamdulillah, thanks God. And we've served over 3,500 hot meals. Of course, this is only a portion of the what's really needed. And working with other partners, it's been really humbling to know and to know the organizations that have been involved here. But from at least from a task force perspective, we've collected over 18K. We try to focus on ethnic foods, so our Afghan brothers and sisters have that authentic taste when they eat food, and make them feel a little bit comfortable in this very very difficult journey, right? So we usually deliver the food and work with IRC, Lutheran Social Services, Catholic Services, and other resettlement agencies to make sure we have that coordinated. That's one area. Another area is actually getting our volunteers, for example, like MOVE, which is a great organization that consists of youth volunteers, to get snacks and things that would be usable for a day-to-day, whether, consisting of snacks for kids, snacks for adults, etc. We're also have been working with ICNA, who's a huge partner and is known in the Valley, award-winning by City of Tempe, to get us food perishable items and make sure it's stored, and we set up from an infrastructure perspective. So then when we are in a position to assist evacuees or refugees, when they are in their apartments, we'll be there to assist. These are just some pictures, and this is, a lot of the volunteers. We cannot do this without the volunteers and the great help that we have from individual volunteers. So I just want to point that out. Another accomplishment that we were able to do mobile clothing distribution events. It's very important for the community, the Afghan community, to have access to clothing and ethnic and Western clothing to help them in this transition until they're fully resettled and on their feet. We have also established a permanent clothing closet in a prime location in Phoenix, using the, one of the donors, ICCP, has helped us tremendously to get this location. So we are trying to set up the infrastructure from a clothing distribution perspective for the incoming need. Right now we have in the hundreds, and Sarah can probably correct me when she gets to her section, we have over 150 refugees, at least in the Phoenix area. We're gonna, Biden administration have allotted 1,600 to come to Arizona. So we have a lot of way to go. And then we also care about the sentimental things, right? Which is just a welcome gift to make people feel at home, but also have spiritual services saved in their native tongue. We do have Brother Shahir and the Spiritual Connection group that does offer whatever spiritual needs and services that they can acquire. I don't want to take too much time here, but what you can do, at least from a task force perspective, there's a constant a constant drive to get clothes, snacks, and also if you have perishable items for food drive. So please make sure that you're able to do what you can, and from that perspective, if you are interested into taking a spot for a hot meal to be served, because if the situation is many of these evacuees are still in hotels, they can't be relocated to apartments yet due to the housing market crisis, and it's been difficult. So the vast majority of them are in hotels, and that means they can't cook. If you want to reserve a spot to host a meal, please let us know. If you cannot do that, there's perishable items, there's clothes, snacks you can donate, as long as it fits into the standards we expect. That's one great way to contribute. Now, with that, I want to welcome the Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest. They've been a great partner with the Muslim community. I want to just welcome you, Sarah, and we appreciate you taking your time. I want to give it to you here to do the screen share, if that's okay.
Well, thank you. It looks like you have one of the slides. If you want to just keep going with what you have, that's fine with me. Okay, that might be easier. Yeah. Sure.
I do have your slide open in case you need it, sir.
Okay. Welcome everyone, and thank you for inviting us. We are Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest, and we are a Valley locally run and operated nonprofit in the Valley. We've been here 50 years. We celebrated our 50-year anniversary last year. Go ahead to the next slide. And you can go ahead to the next one. Very good. Here, just a very quick bit about who we are and what our mission is. Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest has been resettling refugees since 1978, although we've actually been in the Valley working since 1970. We first began working with asylum seekers in 2018. And currently, Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest serves refugees, asylum seekers, and parolees in both Phoenix and Tucson. Our mission is to stabilize people during crisis and transition, to build a foundation where people can thrive, and to preserve dignity and respect for the most vulnerable. Lutheran Social Services serves people in 4 main program areas, and that is refugee resettlement. We serve aging and disability, providing in-home health care. We have family and children's services, which is foster care and adoption. And we have I-Help and emergency services, which focuses on the homeless, emergency food bank, and assistance with utilities and rent. Go on to the next slide. Today's presentation is going to focus on how the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program works, and then what Afghan families will be eligible for as they resettle in Arizona, and how you can become fully trained to support these families. Go ahead to the next slide. So just a quick slide about how does the Refugee Resettlement Program work. There are 9 national agencies with local branches throughout the country that welcome and resettle refugees. Arizona has 4 such agencies. They are Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest, the International Rescue Committee, Catholic Charities, and Arizona International Refugee Service. Resettlement is the last solution for refugees who can't return home or be integrated into the country to which they fled. And the United States is one of 37 resettlement countries in the world that participates in this effort. It has the largest refugee resettlement program in the world. So for Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest, we contract with Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service, which is one of the 9 national agencies, to bring refugees and now parolees, Afghan parolees, into our state. We are all contracted by the government, and we have to follow the same rigorous rules about how we resettle refugees, what services we have to provide, and also we are contracted to what services we cannot provide. The services that we are not able to provide, that's where we rely on the community for help. So go into the next slide. What do resettlement agencies do? We are contracted to provide housing, furnishing, and food for up to 7 to 10 days, airport pickup, and then we apply for the Social Security card, food stamps. We make medical appointments, register children in school and adults in English classes. We provide cultural orientation, employment services, and we also provide special medical support to people who might have disabilities or other medical issues. Resettlement agencies get paid a one-time sum per refugee to finance their first 30 to 90 days in the US. And then after that, they are expected to begin to support themselves. That's a term we use a lot called self-sufficiency. The resettlement program is really focused on helping refugees become self-sufficient, because we realize that when we have brought refugees into America, We are bringing people here for permanent resettlement. There are a lot of countries that do refugee resettlement, but not a lot of countries engage in permanent resettlement. Many countries, particularly in Europe, have temporary programs where they will house and support refugees, but the end goal is for them to go back to their home country. In America, the end goal is to become part of America and to become American citizens. And we realize that for refugees to come to America and to begin to plant roots here, they have to settle into the community and begin to work and make connections with other people from their countries and really accept that this is going to be their new home. So the self-sufficiency is something that is strongly encouraged, and also interaction with the community, with organizations such as yours, is really something that we strongly recommend and try to foster. The money that refugee resettlement agencies receive goes mainly towards rent. And that's particularly true now because rent prices have increased so much since COVID. But it can also go for furnishings, food, clothing, etc. Because we're paid, oh, and then there's an administrative fee which pays for our staff. Because we're paid per client, we can only serve refugees that are assigned to us. And I know this has come up a lot in the last few weeks because there were many evacuees, the parolees that came through the IRC. And we had many people calling us asking if we could assist because it was a lot of people all at once. But we're not allowed to assist the clients of another agency. However, we can encourage community partners, we can share donations with other agencies, we can share resources, but we can't, our administrative staff cannot get involved because our funding is to serve the particular refugees that are assigned to us. Okay, next slide. So resettlement agencies like ours have been contracted to resettle the Afghan parolees. It's important to understand that we are typically contracted to serve refugees or people with special immigration visas. Now, because refugees and SIVs have permanent immigration status, they qualify for governmental services. So the parolees that are arriving in the United States came under humanitarian parole. And within American law, they were not eligible for refugee status, or many of them were not eligible for SIV status. So they were given a special status, which is why we're calling them parolees. The humanitarian parole only temporarily grants individuals entry into the United States for humanitarian reasons. This is not a permanent immigration status. This is very important to understand. Afghan nationals or parolees will only be allowed to stay for 2 years, but they also have to apply for permanent immigration status in the meantime in order to extend that. So immigration services is going to be very important for this population. And you should also know that the laws governing Afghan parolees and their immigration status are going to be changing. And hopefully we're going to get more legislation that's going to help us understand the pathway to permanent residency for the parolees. Also, as humanitarian parole is a temporary status, they initially were not qualified for the same services given to refugees. However, the good news is that actually changed on Thursday, because on Thursday, both the House and the Senate signed the continuing resolution that funded the federal government. And within that resolution were laws that stated that Afghan parolees can now receive the same services that are given to refugees. So we're very, very happy about that change that just happened on Thursday. So go to the next slide. And I'm only going to say that this slide is no longer relevant because of the change that happened on Thursday. So go ahead on to the next slide. Would be slide number 9. Now in our agency, Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest, we have what's called a co-sponsorship program. And this is a special match that is a group to a specific family. Now, before I explain this, I just want to explain 2 other things. That there are 3 ways that you can be involved as individuals or as a group. If you want to volunteer individually, we have individual ways that you can volunteer. We have a mentorship program, which means that you as one person would be matched to mentor and help one person. That's a 1-to-1 match. And if you're interested in that, then you would go to I'm going to give the emails and contact information at the end, but you would volunteer as an individual and you would state interest in that program. That we run a background check and do some training. It's a pretty quick process. And then we would match you with someone to mentor. That's a 1-to-1 match. Then we have a group to one family match. This is the co-sponsorship program. And this would be where you have a group. It can be a church group or a mosque group, or it can be a community organization or just a group of friends that get together and you want to assist one family in the resettlement process. And you would do things, that's what this slide is about. You would do things like getting their state ID, helping enroll the children in school. You might assist them to find a job. You might help them to understand the banking system. You could help to provide cultural orientation, help them with English, or really any other thing that the family needs in order to really get a sound, secure footing. If you want to be a co-sponsor group where you're assigned to one particular family, then you would make contact with us and we would put your group through some training. And then we'd also help you with some resources. And we also run background checks on the group membership to make sure that everyone that's involved with working with refugees is safe and has the right intentions. So in addition then to co-sponsoring, we also have whole groups that we work with, such as the groups that are here, Welcome to America Project, Gathering Humanity. And these are groups that provide niche services really to everyone in the refugee community. They're going to talk more later. And we have wonderful relationships where we refer families or we refer individuals to those organizations, and then they give them their services. Okay, let's see. Go on to the next slide. Okay, your ultimate goal is to help Afghan families make a home in the United States and feel empowered by their new life here. This, we love this picture because this is Bassam Al-Kafaji, and he is actually from Iraq, and he's a member of our staff. He's our resettlement coordinator. He came through Lutheran Social Services as a refugee, and this is obviously his wife and his beautiful children. And so again, that's our goal. We want to assist and help to really adopt our community as your new home and make you feel comfortable and accepted and empowered to live the life that they want to live. Okay, and I think that's the last slide. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Yes, we do. We have a question and a Q&A session. So Brother Ashraf, just get ready with your questions. I have a question just for me. Maybe we could start with that, and then we'll go to Brother Ashraf for a question. So there's a lot of members of the community, especially the Muslim community, Sarah, that don't know the details and the fine difference between the definition of an evacuee and the status of a refugee. And some assume that they do have benefits and they're well taken care of and we don't need to worry or help. And that's where education comes into play. And that's why we're talking about this and asking the community to help, and also plugging in where the government agencies and resettlement agencies are helping. So can you please expand on that in terms of where we are right now? What are the benefits that are provided to a lot of these evacuees at this moment when they arrive?
Sure. So the evacuees now have what is called the parolee status. And so they're slightly different than a refugee, because a refugee is a permanent status, but the parolee is not a permanent status. And so that's something that will maybe be addressed through legislation very quickly. But as of right now, they're going to have 2 years to apply for residency. So that's one of the things they're going to need help with, is immigration services. We don't provide immigration services. The services we provide are basic housing. We will find housing. We'll provide the first 2 weeks of food when they arrive, and we do culturally appropriate food. We'll provide furnishings for the housing. We have a list of what needs to be in the apartment or the home. It's all in our contractual agreement. We'll also provide now, as of Thursday, the services have been expanded. So we will provide regular case management services, or such like we're going to help them with their employment authorization card and their social security card, their driver's license. We will help them apply for SNAP benefits, food stamps, WIC for pregnant women or children under 5, whatever the state has deemed them eligible, we will make those applications. We will also assist them to find medical services, so they'll need a regular doctor. We will help them make sure that their vaccinations are up to date. Many of them were vaccinated in the on the base. They've at least had 1 vaccination, so many of them will need their second vaccination very quickly after they arrive, and so we will help arrange that. And any other medical attention or services they may need. We'll also help them with employment services now, which is really exciting, and they'll be eligible for what's called our matching grant program. That's a big win for the parolees, because this is a program that will help them up to 4 months after their initial arrival. When they find a job, it's a matching program that gives them some extra cash to take care of, extra needs that they have from just getting settled.
Thank you so much. And this is pending until, or is this still happening right now? My understanding is that there's still a legislative hiccup until those programs get enacted. Is that correct?
Well, we were notified on Thursday by our national partner that the legislation is signed. We're waiting for President Biden to sign it, but that it was passed by both the House and Senate, and so we are mobilizing as if it's in, we've been authorized to give those services.
Great, thank you so much, Brother Ashraf. Can we get the Q&A for the other panel attendees?
Yes, of course. We have actually 4 questions so far in the chat, so I will address them in the order it came in. So the first question, Sarah was asking, are there any families coming to Tucson?
Oh, yes. Yes, we have. So because we were given authorization to provide the full refugee complement of services, then we have expanded what we have told the national partners we can resettle. So the agency in Phoenix will resettle 300 people, and the agency in Tucson will resettle 150 people. Now that's just for Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest. Each one of the 4 resettlement agencies will resettle a certain amount. So before the new legislation, it was about 1,600 people, but we're going to expect now it'll be 2,000 or more.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
The second question, I think we already have the answer, but I just will verify, is asking, are they able to work? And I think
Oh,
based on
yes.
the input that yes, they will be able to work. Thank you.
Oh, yes, working is encouraged. And that is, yes, absolutely. I see a question about the length of case management. So the case
Yes,
management
that
is
was
nine-
the
is that the
following
next
question.
one?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
next
90
one.
days. 90 days. Yeah.
Okay, so
Now this
after
is
90 days, Sarah, is basically Lutheran Social Service just being there in the background if they reach out?
yes. So this is what's really important to understand where the community comes in. The way that we approach it at Lutheran Social Services is we want to make sure that in that 90 days, we have helped the families really make meaningful contact in the community. That's why the co-sponsorship and the services such as you are offering are really important, because we will help link the family to that. And then after 90 days, they're still going to need some help. And so most often it's going to be the community that's going to be their resource. You know, we still can provide a way to coordinate resources, but in terms of our agency resources, they're not eligible after 90 days at this point. Again, you know, the way that there is so much support for this humanitarian effort, that could certainly be addressed in legislation, and that could be extended. But as it is right now, it's 90 days.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Mhm.
I think there was another question about, can we share the slides? So we'll circle back with everyone about sharing the slides.
Oh, sure. The only thing is I would have you remove that slide. We can do 2 things. We did not have time to update the presentation before this presentation. So we can do that on Monday and then send you the updated presentation, because there's one slide now that isn't correct, and that's what services that they're eligible for. So we can update that slide and then send you the updated presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
I
I
have a
know,
question.
Brother Shahir, you have your hands up. We have a couple more questions, so go ahead
Sure.
briefly, and then we'll jump into the 2 other questions. Go ahead, Brother
Yeah,
Shahir.
I just had a question with regards to what Sarah said earlier related to the parolees that have arrived. So Sarah, I think you're aware, but our group, this refugee task force with AMA, we've been working mainly with the IRC evacuees that have arrived. So are we able to help those folks, or do you have a different batch of folks that you all are keeping in a different part of Phoenix that we would then become co-sponsors and help out?
Yes, so the people that we will be resettling are the group that have been assigned to our agency specifically. And our first 3 families are arriving next week. And so we have a spreadsheet that is populated by our national agency. They will pick up families as they are ready to go from the base. If they have declared Phoenix or Tucson, where they have friends or family, or they've been assigned to Phoenix or Tucson, then they're populated into our spreadsheet, and we have about 10 days to prepare for their arrival. So we were notified, I believe it was Wednesday, that our families are scheduled to travel next week on the 6th. And so we have prepared housing for them. And yes, we will be assigning them a co-sponsor. We have people who have been waiting and ready to go. And we will begin to work with groups such as your group and Welcome to America Project, Gathering Humanity, etc., for all of the wonderful things that you provide. So our case managers will like, one thing I will say is that, for example, Welcome to America Project and Gathering Humanity have a referral system, and we know how to refer clients to their organizations. So I'm not sure what the referral system is for AMA. But let me take a moment to introduce Susan Masoud. Is she on the panel? She is also in our community engagement team, and she is new to our staff. She's from the Afghan community, and one of her roles is specifically to help the Afghan parolees be in contact with the Afghan community resources that want to help out. And so developing a referral process, that makes it really simple for us to let you know who's here, where they are, and what they need, and then you can provide the services that you want to provide.
Thank you very much, Sarah. There is two other question in the question and Q&A. The first one is with the housing market right now is very expensive. People are asking, is there any way that they can assist in getting the evacuees houses?
Yes, so there are a couple of ways that you can help with housing. So we have a special fund set up specifically for housing for the parolees. So if you want to make a cash donation to Lutheran Social Services, that's one way. And we will guarantee that those funds will go to offset some of the housing costs. The second way is as a co-sponsor group. If you want to become a co-sponsor group and assist a particular family and including helping them with their housing costs, then you can sign up for that program and you can assist that way. If you have a commercial property that you would like to make available to a parolee family, either at a free rent or a reduced rent, then you can do that. And you can call our community engagement team and you can let them know that you have a commercial property, either you have an apartment or you own a house or whatever. And then our team will, just screen to understand what the space is and how big it is and how many bedrooms, et cetera. We'll come and inspect it to make sure that it's, safe and clean, et cetera. And then we will put it in what we're calling our housing bank. And then we will resettle a family as soon as one that matches the location and the size. It's a suitable match. So those are kind of the three ways that you can help with housing.
Thank you very much, Sarah. There's another question related to housing, but I want to ask first the other question from Sister Azra. The question is, will you share a list of all the group we can contact based on the way we can help, as example, co-sponsor, etc. So we will, part of this presentation at the end, we will have a slide with all the contacts and different organizations and how several individuals in the community can reach back out. And we'll send that email back out to everyone signed up for the Zoom. We have everyone's email, so we'll send that back out.
Perfect.
Sister Azra, I hope that answered your question. If anything else, let us know. The other question related to rent, is the rent assist after the 3 months? Is there rent assist after 3 months? The 90 days?
Yes, there have been additional funds provided by various other organizations. Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service has provided a housing assistance fund that can extend beyond the 3-month period. Now, as I said, they are eligible to go into our matching grant program, which provides extra funds for housing. So there are resources to provide for additional funds. And particularly, this is, families that, may have a large number of children and maybe only one person who's eligible to work. For example, if a father is working and has many children that none of them are, over 18, that can be very difficult in Arizona to find the big enough house and to accommodate that's going to be at a price that single earner can afford. So this is something that we're prepared. We have different ways of addressing it, but we definitely are going to need help from the community for this. And again, it isn't just Arizona, really all over the country. Housing has become expensive and scarce because of COVID. And so that's going to be a really important way for people to help financially.
Excellent. Thank you very much. One more follow-up question from Sister Selena is, how many family Lutheran social services have settled that you're aware of, Sarah?
How many families have we resettled?
Correct.
Sorry.
So
Oh,
how many families? Yeah, so Afghan families so far.
The Afghan families?
Correct.
We haven't said resettled any yet. They are just now getting released from the military base. So we're getting our first 3 families next week. Remember, they were ready to begin releasing people in September, but then they had they put a hold on releases because there was a measles outbreak in the military base. So they had to freeze the release, put in a quarantine protocol, make sure everyone then had a measles vaccination, and a 21-day hold before people could begin being released. And that now is fulfilled. So people that are coming will have had their measles vaccination, they will have had their COVID vaccination, and they're ready to be released into the community.
I think we have room for one more question. Brother Usher,
Yes.
we have last one.
Yes, I think there was one more question we want to make sure just get addressed is as someone is asking, I think that is if you want to do a senior project about foster care, is there a way that he can contact one of the organizations? So
yeah, so Catholic Charities is the organization in Arizona or in Phoenix that handles unaccompanied minors. And so we don't all do that because this is a special program. And so we try not to duplicate each other's services. So they will handle that population exclusively. So if you're interested in becoming a foster parent, then you should contact Catholic Charities in Phoenix, and they will they put you through a process to screen and train and certify people to become foster families. And let me say, they give priority and preference to people who are a cultural and religious match. They really want unaccompanied minors to go into homes where they're going to have their culture and their religion, something that they're accustomed to, and have that continue to be nurtured and developed.
Okay, thank you. There is one more question related to that from Saba. Are there any orphans that are also coming that may need to be housed? If people can't sponsor a whole family but want to assist the children, is that a possibility?
Yes, but they will be coming through Catholic Charities. We will not receive any unaccompanied minors through Lutheran Social Services. If they are assigned to Phoenix, they will go to Catholic Charities.
Excellent. Sorry, one more question. How many of these 450 comings are minor, and what special arrangement are made for them? Again, into foster program?
Yeah, again, we will not have unaccompanied minors in our population of 450. They will all be adults or families.
Yep. And what we're going to do is have future webinar sessions include the Catholic Service.
Yes. I was going to suggest that you should have a webinar series specifically devoted to people who are interested in working with the children, because they have a unique set of needs, and Catholic Charities has a very well developed process to help them. And I know that they desperately want as many people who can help with the Afghan, and I have no idea of the numbers, but I know that they're going to want to place the Afghan children in Afghan families.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sarah. I believe we answered all the questions in the chat. There is a couple of notes about the recording and the contacts for all the organizations. So we will add that, all the organization and the contacts for that, along with the recording, and we'll email it back to everyone. We have everyone's email who signed up for the session, and we will be sending that back to everyone.
Correct. Sarah, we'll work together on Monday so we could send out all in one batch. We appreciate you answering the questions. It's extremely helpful. And it's very, the work that you guys do is amazing. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for taking the time to answer the questions.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course, it was our pleasure.
Let me just also say that anyone who's listening to this or people that listen to the recording, please don't hesitate to contact us. We have 4 main people who are working on this. We have a half a dozen other people who are supplementary. So we have a very full staff to assist in linking the arrivals with the community, and we consider it such an honor to be in the position to help. And so don't hesitate to email us, call us with your questions, and any issue or that you want to discuss with us. We're always here, and we always answer the phone, and we always are very excited to work with the community. So thank you again so much for inviting us. Really appreciate your amazing organization and all of the outpouring of support we've received so far. And I really look forward to helping these precious families find a new start in our community.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I think we're on time. Brother Ray, back to you.
Correct. I want to give to Sister Tan. There's so many wonderful niche organizations that we work with directly, indirectly. Sister Tan, can you just please give us a quick intro, and then we have representatives from organizations to briefly talk about their services. Sister Tan?
Sure. So hello, everyone. Over the years, as the ICNV's Refugee Outreach Coordinator, I've had the privilege to work with, and get to know all of these amazing, true refugee serving partners. So in every one of them, what I've admired the most and what I've seen is the consistent dedication, the compassion, and most importantly is the genuine desire to learn from the newcomers so that they can best help them. So that's why we would like to have these organizations here with us to share with us what they do, so that our community can learn about them and how we can work together to support our Afghan arrivals. So the first partner is going to be Gathering Humanity, and I'm honored to have Christina Atwood here. Christina, please go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful for that opening prayer and to have Sarah give us a great update on how things are looking. Gathering Humanity has been around over 5 years, and our goal is to help the 4 resettlement agencies that we have to prepare a welcoming space for those families that arrive. And so our primary focus is to help with the goods that go into the apartments of the refugee families, as well as those that have been approved for asylum. And we have been supporting all 4 of the resettlement agencies in their efforts. In addition, we do help other organizations in the community to, when we have the goods, to be able to support their works as well. So today, goods went out for some foster families, but that primary focus is household goods. We are an all volunteer organization, and we have just been so blessed by our community and a diversity in that community and willingness for people to come forward and help. And so we have a warehouse space in Tempe that's just right near the Sky Harbor Airport. And we have been working to help IRC with the families that are here in a hotel, Airbnb and that sort of thing, with a few services with goods and whatnot. And we have had some of the agencies actually have families come already. There's been a few that have been released from camps that have arrived, and we've been able to set up apartments for them. One of our biggest, just coming off of COVID, was trying to figure out how to engage the community again, where we've been a little more hesitant to engage the community. And so as we put out for goods, we have literally been overwhelmed with the generosity of our community. We have a website, it's www.gatheringhumanity.org, and we keep it up to date on the things that we can receive and that we don't receive. For the last 5 years, we've been providing all the goods that are on that list. Sarah referenced that when a family arrives that they are supposed to receive certain things, including that 2 weeks of groceries, a prepared meal, and then very specific household goods. And so we've been trying to meet the needs for all of those things. We do not have the space any longer with the numbers that we're expecting to be able to continue to provide couches and things. So we've actually been visiting with ICNA and other partners, Welcome to America Project, to see if there's going to be a way to get those large household furniture items to the families that are arriving. And so that's something that we're working on, as well as partnering with ICNA with food, because there's so many families that are going to be arriving that the need is just going to be so overwhelming. And I'm grateful for the response by ICNA and others to work together. And I think that that is a real testament to the valley that we live in and the many people that really are wanting to come together and to serve together. And so I'd encourage everybody to visit online. Ways that you can help is you can come help at the warehouse. You can sort donations, prepare donations to go out to apartment setups. You can come help us do an apartment setup. You can sign up to do groceries for 2 weeks. You can sign up to do a meal. So those are ways that you can engage with families that are arriving with Gathering Humanity is to help in one of those ways. And best way to do that is to get online to their website and sign up for any of those services. Any questions?
I just picture represents your organization. I've heard so many great things about Gathering Humanity. So all power to you, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. It's a God thing for me. I'm so grateful for him, and I'm also so grateful that there's so many people in our community that are willing to answer that call, because literally it is only through one another that we're able to answer any need. And so very grateful for the community, not only the individuals, but all the other partners that are on here for Welcome to America Project, for Lisa McDonald with Matthew's House, all of them. Like, if we don't have each other and ICNA to work together, then it would become overwhelming and not doable. So very grateful.
All right, thank you. And next, Sister 10, we have Matthew.
Brother, sorry, could we take very quick question for Gathering Humanity?
Brother Shahir, if we can save the questions to the end, that would be great. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's do that. So this is, I would like to introduce the next organization is Matthew House and the East Valley Refugee Coalition. The representative on that is Lisa McDonald. I've had the privilege to work with Lisa on many occasions with the Syrian refugees when they arrived in 2016. This picture is one of the Syrian Swiss exchange hosted in the East Valley. I won't take more time because I want Lisa to tell us about all the good things that they have done to support Syrian refugees, and they have a great model, something that we can all learn from. So Lisa, please take it from here.
Thank you so much, Tan. And again, as Christina mentioned, I'm just honored and humbled to be here. It's been a gift and a privilege to be able to serve refugee families in our community for the last few years. I started as part of Central Christian Church and oversaw refugee programming through that organization. Had the honor to work with Sarah and the team at Lutheran Social Services to co-sponsor families. So we've had the opportunity to do that for many years. We run an English program for adults, and we have tutoring programs for children in the East Valley. We recognize that those were gaps. And just recently we launched the nonprofit Matthew House outside of the church, because we do want to be partnering with the broader community. And we've been working alongside organizations like Welcome to America Project and Gathering Humanity. I've had the privilege to work with ICNA over the last few months, working with the Afghan families, and again, working alongside community partners. But we've launched Matthew House in particular, because one of the gaps that you've heard addressed on this call today is the issue with housing, and the fact that housing is difficult to obtain, and it is not affordable. And we saw that in 2016 with families that arrived directly to the East Valley, many of them had employment situations that after their initial matching grant program ended and their financial support for housing was supposed to be on their own, they struggled making that happen until they found themselves in a public housing situation. And so again, our organization desires to step in and help bridge that. And because the government requirements for public housing are that people have to have been here, they have to be legal residents, they have to have been in country for a period of time, from the perspective that they have to have worked and have pay stubs. Our organization wants to help bridge that and act in that capacity through private funds. So we are a donation-driven organization, privately funded, no government funding at this time. We're all volunteers. And again, we run tutoring programs to bridge educational gaps that a lot of times new families have as they are sitting in schools for the first time, or their kids are learning English and working in our education system. Language programs for adults. And again, we offer that housing support for families that are newly arrived and needing that assistance until they can be stabilized on their own. So again, I know Sarah mentioned that their organization provides that opportunity for families to be funded through their donation portal. And again, that's the opportunity that we're offering through Matthew House as well. We're not restricted to just simply refugees. We focus on both refugee and immigrants, so asylum seekers, families that are undocumented. And then Tan mentioned the East Valley Refugee Coalition. It's an organization that just simply desired to pull together partners so that we can work collaboratively in the community to help address needs as they come up. And so it's really more of a meeting of the minds, as it were, and an effort to, again, bring people to the table. So those are the two organizations that I'm a part of. And again, just honored to be able to work alongside these families and serve them as they make the United States and Phoenix or Tucson in particular their home.
Thank you so much. Heard a lot of great things about you from Sister Selena and from ICNA. And again, thank you for what you're doing. We have, welcome to America next, Sister Tan.
Yes, so the next representative is the most inspiring person I've ever met. Whenever you hear him speak, you can just listen forever. His name is Mike Sullivan. This is the picture that over last year during the pandemic, Welcome to America Project never stopped working with refugees. They provided almost 100 bicycles for the Rohingya communities. And although they did a clothing drive for the same community. So we look forward to working more with Welcome to America Project. And Mike, please go ahead.
Thank you, my friend. It's an honor to be among all the folks on this call, those that have already been involved and those seeking to get involved. So a refugee, it's a perilous journey to get here. But once they arrive in the United States, it begins another perilous journey. Right? So resettlement is one thing. That's when you move from one place to another and you find safety, but getting connected to community is a whole nother path. And so what we do is we go out with large groups of volunteers to welcome our new neighbors. We want to make sure that people know we're glad they're here, we're glad they're safe. And then the other thing to do is we share resources for faster and fuller integration and connection to community. There's a couple of philosophies that we go by that I think are helpful to understand kind of where our place is one is that integration is interaction. And if you think of the same way that you've made friends, or maybe if you move from one place to another, it's not just you, the new person, trying to fit into the new society. Sure, you have to know the laws and the languages and workplace norms, that kind of stuff, but you're still coming with the person who has a lifetime of experiences, and you have a culture, and you have a faith, and you have knowledge, and you have personality, and all of those things are what we call to attention when we say integration is interaction, because it's not just the new people integrating with the community. It's the community integrating with the newcomers. It's others meeting others. So we try to foster these encounters where we turn fear into hope. Many people think I'm referring to refugee fear, but I'm referring to both refugee fear and the community's fear of somebody that's new, that's somebody that dresses differently, that's someone that may eat different foods. Truth is, that's the exact same way that somebody new would describe the Americans they might encounter. And so it's really important to us that we create these opportunities so that integration is interaction. The other thing that we do, or philosophy, is that we're all a part of the welcome. It's just a matter of deciding what role you're going to play. We basically are a conduit to the community's kindness. And so what we do specifically is we'll go out with the group for the welcome, but we also do things like we'll collect and fix bikes so that the transportation issues can be countered. We'll, with our partner, PCs for Refugees, who's also on this call, we'll share computers with refugees so that they can get connected to the new community, so that they can seek jobs, so that they can continue education. We'll go out with clothing closets to help people get, that shirt they need for an interview, or a change of clothes for the kids for school, or new shoes, new undergarments, new socks, things that are really important as somebody to start to feel comfortable. In terms of how we might interact with people on this call, I would love, in particular, your youth, if they wanted to find opportunities to volunteer with us. I've found it really powerful when young people meet young people, just the kind of connections that are made, how the mindset is broadened. And so I want to encourage you to look for possibilities to come out as either a group or as signing up with other groups that exist to join us. Welcome to America Project. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and the website. The reason I share that, the pictures tell a better story than I can tell. It also helps you to know what we need currently, because the needs evolve as we get as a community response. So something we ask for one day may be something we have an overabundance of the next. So thank you for this wonderful chance, and please stay connected. Let's not make this a single call, but the beginning of a dialogue that says how we can help.
Thank you, Michael. I never met you, but I feel that you got a welcoming voice, very welcoming spirit, and that's the kind of welcoming American spirit we want, refugees, evacuees, all people in the immigrant community to have. So thank you for what you do, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next.
Next, we have Yasin Jamaluddin with PCs for Refugees. This is another inspiring person by action. You don't hear much of him, but he and his wife, Shahana, in the picture here in the blue shirt, and both in blue shirts, both of them are working quietly in the background, making a huge impact by setting up, providing computers to refugees. So Brother Yasin, please.
Thank you so much, Chatan. Hi, everybody. I think it goes without saying, it's definitely so much of pleasure and an untold honor to be in such a community which comes together to help humans. So we are so much. I'm so dumbstruck to be in this call to listen to all of you guys with so much passion towards humanity. What we do is, Sister Tan and Mike was talking about, we do build computers. We basically get computers from different corporations and community donations all over the valley. We fix them, install the basic software that is necessary for the kids to be able to do their homework, learning English, being able to find a job, the tools and things that they'll need for their day-to-day usage of their computers in their school or in their learning or entertainment, as and obviously for their games and videos and whatnot. So what we also serve the purpose of actually repurposing the computers and a little bit of recycling. We work with other partners, and one of our biggest partners is Welcome to America Project. Apart from that, we work with AZ Strut and the likes for recycling. We have partnership with Microsoft and close contacts with Intel, things like corporates like that, so that we'll be able to get enough support, at least from the technology perspective, the extent that we'll be able to do this easily, being a really small organization such as ourselves. So essentially, we vet the computers, we wipe the drives, we take care of all the data privacy, security, both for the donor as well as the beneficiary. So to make sure that the kids don't end up having things that they should not have in their hands. We install software, set up basic security and privacy things in their machines and phones sometimes. And we work with all sorts of electronics, phones, tablets, PCs, very little bit of Mac, and we give them out to the families. Sometimes we'll be able to give laptops to the college-going kids, which has significantly changed after the pandemic. And we help them with, we used to do a lot of programs in terms of teaching computers, basic skills in using the Office, Microsoft Office suite and things like that, which has reduced because of the pandemic. But we are thinking of making the digital literacy part of our engagement with the communities back again, maybe in the next year or so. That's pretty much it. It's essentially, like Sister Tan was saying, it's just two people essentially running the organization at this point, but we have an ASU wing, PFR ASU as we call it. We have a lot of volunteers from there, and every 3 years once or so, the officers there from the ASU club perspective will change. So we get volunteers from there, volunteers through through Welcome to America project. And we work with all the resettlement agencies directly sometimes or through Welcome to America project. And also mostly though our offerings are just for refugees, we do help other communities like other underprivileged families if we have a strong reference to verify the story. I guess that's pretty much it. And we are so humbled to be here, and we'll definitely looking forward to working with each other and be able to serve and serve the purpose. Thanks.
Thank you, Brother Yassine. In a pandemic where how we're all connected to everything is through online and computers, you're providing an essential service like water and electricity for these people need. Thank you so much. And we have one other partner, one other serving partner, and then we're gonna wrap the call with some QA. So, Sister Tan.
Yes, so this is a wonderful group that I'm going to let the two ladies speak about. But this group came together in 2016 when Syrian refugees came. And I hope something like this would just keep expanding to welcome Afghan families. So Sister Uzma and Carla.
Assalamu alaikum and hello everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to introduce Refugee Connection Phoenix. We are a grassroots organization of women with different connections within the community, different networks with refugee resources in the community, and we kind of came together. And initially, we did mentor families. I'm not really, it's not something that we continued to do. It's more on an informal basis. And I think most of those community mentors are volunteers that stepped up with families, refugee families that showed up at some of our events and just kind of, started helping them navigate to settle in better into their new home in Phoenix. So we do still have a mentorship capacity, and I'll talk about that, or I probably will defer that to Carla because she's going to be talking about one specific project that we do. One of our offshoots or activities is the Let's Read Neighbor program, which was started by one of our very active volunteers who saw a need in the community for tutoring for the kids because they were falling very behind in school. And so she matches up volunteers with families who have expressed an interest in their kids wanting to learn how to read. And some of those tutors go on to become the family's mentors and will come back to us to report any needs that the family has so that we can then connect them with the resources that we're aware of. The Syrian Suites program that you heard about earlier, we were a part of helping market for that and helping to get more people to attend those. I think in some capacity, we helped in the volunteer setup for that particular program as well. Syrian Supper Club out of the East Valley, I think it was a Gathering Humanity volunteer actually who had started that, and we did get involved in trying to recruit both refugees to be the cooks and our volunteers to attend and buy the tickets to those events. You've heard about the wonderful laptop Program and the PCs for refugees. We definitely, anytime there's a need that comes up within our group, when our mentors are coming back and saying somebody needs a laptop or somebody needs help with transportation, we are definitely referring to those partner organizations in the Valley. And then what I'm most proud of is our refugee baby shower. So I'll turn over the mic to my partner in crime, Carla Miller.
Thank you, Uzma. And I feel like Uzma should be the one that's entitled to speak on this, because this was her brainchild from about 4 or 5 years ago. She started, and I'm glad to have been involved with organizing a refugee baby shower. Our aim is to serve at least 12, between 12 and 30 mums, and to get them everything that they need to start out this journey with their baby. We hope to provide them with everything they'll need for pregnancy and for the first 2 years of the baby's life. And whether that's new items or whether that's items that have been donated by the community. Obviously, COVID has shaken this up a little bit. So currently we have a storage room that we are allowing the mentors for these mums to come and shop from, which has been very helpful, but we're super excited to get back to in person, because we're able to provide education through translators in their own languages in things that we think are essential for a new mum, no matter the culture. Things like breastfeeding help, how to install a car seat. We have a grant provided. Most of our showers, we've had a grant provided from LDS Charities that provides them with reusable diapers and all the paraphernalia that they need for that. So we provide education on how to use those. We really try to get them set up so that these newest members of American society can thrive right from the beginning. And so the best ways to support us in that, we work through Refugee Connection Phoenix and through Gathering Humanity. And we actually have a wish list on Gathering Humanity's page, an Amazon wish list for the items that we need to have new. There are some items that either it is illegal for us to do secondhand, or they're just gross secondhand. So there are some items that we need new, and we blast that wish list out to the society, just, and we get, people are so generous. We get so many donations through there. People also bring donations of clothing and toys and books and things to my house at all hours of the day and night, so that we can get those to the storage room. And we encourage members of the community to please reach out to local mums and anyone who's getting rid of their old baby stuff, because heaven knows babies get through things so quickly. So there's so many toys out there. We don't need to buy new toys. We don't need to buy new books. There's so many things out there. So yeah, that's a project that we love and we find people really want to be involved with. And we have a budget of $0.00. And each shower has costed us around $15,000. And we do those twice a year. The community has just stepped up and provided these mums with the things that they need. So if you're interested in helping us or having us partner up with someone, or any questions, then Uzma is really the best person to ask, as she registers the mums. I'm more of the donation arm, but you can also find us through Gathering Humanity, and they have a section where you can email them, or you can donate straight through the wish list, or get in contact with us that way too. Thank you so much.
Great rundown, Carla. And then in terms of the mentors and how they play a role in the refugee baby shower, we ask for a community member, a local Phoenician, to mentor that particular mom, because there's so many new things, and pregnancy and birth is so different in our country versus the rest of the world. And so to kind of help them navigate their prenatal, antenatal and postpartum journey, we really ask for those mentors to be there. And there are agreements that we make with the moms, just to kind of get them a little bit more literate, health literacy on this side of the earth. So if any of you do have ongoing mentorship programs where you've got those families and you encounter pregnant refugees, then please, I am the person to contact if you would like them registered for the next one. And we do fully intend to have our next shower in April in person, God willing.
Thank you so much. All these organizations, including entities, individuals, are really we cannot do it without the volunteers. So thank you, Sister Osma and Sister Carla, for telling us what does it look like when volunteers across the Phoenix community have just one goal in mind, which is serving humanity. So thank you for that reminder. I think that wraps up for all the organizations and all the great partners that we have displayed today. Just letting you know, we have other webinars that are coming up pertaining to this topic and others, inshallah. So we have your email. Just please watch out for other events. Brother Ashraf, you did tell me that there's a couple questions. Let's take a few minutes there, and then we'll wrap up, inshallah.
Thank you, Brother Uday. I think one of the question was they asking for a contact at Catholic Charities for fostering. So I answered that in the chat. We will get that contact and we'll include in the deck and in the recording, and we'll circle back with the email for everyone who signed up. We have your email. So I think that was only remaining questions. I don't see any other question in the chat at this moment. If there is any other question, last minute question, please put in the chat. I see Brother Salahuddin, you raise your hand. Not sure if it's accidentally or you have a question, but if you have a question, please put it in the chat here as a last question. But otherwise, Brother Uday will hand it back to you for a couple minutes and keep watching here for the chat if there is any other questions. I think it's
great. Brother Junaid, I did see your chat text message. Just please do text me. Let's connect. We could find out some partnership. Sister Selena, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so
sorry, I'm here. Yes.
Welcome to the panelist section. Can you just, before we disconnect, can you just tell us a little bit about an update from what ICNA is doing right now? I know you've been swamped in multiple events and engagements, so can you tell us a little bit of what ICNA is doing, and then we'll wrap up the call. I appreciate your time.
Sure, not a problem. So ICNA Relief, we have like 6 programs, and one of our programs is the refugee services. So we started working with this Afghan refugee, and alhamdulillah, now we have 16 other organizations. We joined together and we made a big coalition. So we are offering the food, like we are doing the weekend food, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we also cover 2 other breakfasts, but it's not just ICNA's effort. All of us actually contributed to this effort. And I think that's all we are doing right now. And also we partner with the Gathering Humanity. So anytime they will have any new family, they let us know and we'll try to do their grocery, at least for a month. So they'll be covered for the food. And we are prepared. I mean, whatever else we need, we can provide. We just have to kind of wait and see what else, what kind of requests we have. So currently we're just working on only the food.
Thank you so much, Sister Selena. Brother Ashraf, Sister Tan, any closing comments from your end? We're gonna close in 5.
So I would like to say that this is just the beginning of a series of educational seminars, on refugee resettlement. So in the future, we would like to invite the other resettlement agencies, for example, Catholic Charities, who will speak about their specialties in the areas of domestic violence, human trafficking, fostering. We will have other Muslim organizations such as UMWA grow together on as well to talk about what services they are providing, so that we all get to know of the new services as they come up and see how we can work together. Thank you so much to all of you for attending today.
Thank you. And last but not least, Brother Ashraf, any final thoughts?
Thank you, Brother Uday. On behalf of myself and the MOVE team, we really want to thank everyone here and all the partners in the task force. And as we always say at MOVE, because all our efforts are volunteer-based, so don't ever think anything you can do is very little, because every little from every member in the community will add up to a lot. That's how we started MOVE. So please be engaged, and even if it's 30 minutes or 1 hour, I myself was one of these people 6-7 years ago that, hey, 1 hour will not do much, and slowly and gradually 1 hour from 10, 15, 20, 100 people in the community, it adds up a lot, and it really make a difference in our refugees' lives. So please keep that in mind and keep sharing it with your circle. And once again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us.
All right, great. Thank you. 4 minutes. We'll give you 4 minutes back. We will, inshallah, God willing, we will plan to send you the documentation, contact list, recording early next week. Just give us a few days to prep that up. We clean it up and inshallah be prepared to hear more from us, from other partners, and for the next series. Have a good Saturday. And thank you for all the panelists that have joined us and the listeners. Take care.